Good afternoon, and welcome back to the channel. It's a beautiful day, as you can see. Birds chirping, sun shining. I have to shoot this one on the iPad because my phone's running out of storage. Actually, it's just I low-key kind of do need a new phone. Let's have a seat. So, just thinking, kind of going through some thought this morning into the afternoon. Life's gotten kind of tough, and I'm at a crossroads where I can choose to do things, continue to do things the world's way, or I can choose to do it God's way. I know what God can do for me, and I have a good hope and a good feeling and a good sense of what He has for me. And there's also things beyond that I don't know what He has for me. And I'm at the point where I desire that more than I do what the world can offer me. So this video is kind of a me choosing to divorce the world. Lately my energy just been kind of off, kind of low. I'm not on socials that much. I don't post hardly nothing. I've told some people privately, like, hey, I'm quitting the socials, and I've made no public PSA because I honestly kind of find that a little bit corny, and maybe it's because only corny people did it, but would continue to be on the platforms, posting regularly. But like, I'm truly at the point where I realize that this doesn't benefit me or my spiritual energy or has nothing for me, so I just need to let it go. I think I'm walking a line of conformation, not confirmation, conformation, of I can choose to conform to God or the world, and I'm leading a lot of world, and that's not good. And it's costly. I run a business. I run a cleaning business, and it's hard trying to run a business as I don't have a regular W-2 job. Okay, I'm a 1099 employed now. I'm my own man, and you have various different routes of business practice, and some of them are godly and some of them aren't. It just really depends on who your compass and source is. Yeah. So just kind of going through that, I've kind of realized, the way I'm trying to market myself and way to do things is the world's way. It's not God's way. Let me tell you something. God isn't, God and social media are not synonymous, which I guess lots of you probably know. But you can be godly off screen. I don't have to show that to anybody. I can run a business off screen. I don't have to show that to anybody. Sure, my business may not be as big as I want it to be, but I don't have to make reels or shorts or run ads on Facebook or Google or anything. There's a different way to do business. And see, it's the popular way to do business, the world way of make reels, make TikToks, get yourself out there, make YouTube shorts, get yourself out there in a way to where you're seen by lots of people. But a lot of people doesn't mean a lot of business and a lot of traction. It just means a lot of eyes watching and scrutinizing you. I'm not at a place where I can be watching and scrutinized, but I'm not ready. I don't have the clientele. I don't have the base to deal with all that right now. I don't need people to see what I'm doing. I'm not trying to be secretive, but it's just I don't, even at the most successful point, okay, let's say I get a million views on a reel that I put out or a short, and that gets me 100 clients, I don't have the infrastructure for 100 clients. Simple as that. I can service 20, 30 maybe at tops. Okay, and then I start booking out. And then you start booking out, people think it's an immediate service. I do cleaning. I clean homes. I pressure wash concrete. I detail cars. So these are kind of more immediate-ish things. You don't really schedule 6, 8 months out, but if that gets to that point, then they start going elsewhere. So I don't have the infrastructure for that, and that's the backside of things that people don't tell you. Um, the devil won't tell you, the world won't tell you that that's kind of how it is on the backside. Um, but that's what I'm realizing it. So it's something that I don't need to partake in right now. So I'm stepping away. I'm stepping away from all socials. You know, I will run Facebook ads in my local town's Facebook group page. I've had some success. I get a lot of inquiries, and then people balk at prices, or there's no follow up or follow through. You know, I'll follow through with them. You know, send them my price list, say, hey, when are you available, and then text back, okay, cool, whatever, I get it. But um, there's just not much success in the online realm. Snapchat, I have no use for. No use for it. I don't. I've tried 2 or 3 times to advertise on there. Doesn't do me any good. Instagram, okay. Most of my friends on Instagram are international or nationwide. I can't be like, yo, Austin, check out my detailing business. Yeah, cool. He might want his truck detailed, but he lives in freaking Virginia. I'm Missouri based. Okay, Ashley in Colorado. She in Colorado. I'm not gonna drive 1,000 miles to do that. So doesn't do her any good. Okay, so more local, immediate areas is what I need to focus on. And you know, I got friends who live in Crete. I got friends who live in various parts of Asia. A couple in Australia. Lots around Europe. A few in Mexico. A couple in Canada. It's just it's everywhere. So a couple in the Middle East. They're cool guys. I like them. Hopefully, gonna meet them in real life someday. But so basically, saying all this, I've come to this realization of it's boom or bust time for my business, and I really need to focus and grind. Therefore, I need to streamline my not only my business but my energy. I need to streamline myself. I need to streamline myself. So therefore, I have to separate, oil and water, and just go with what flows smoothest and best for my business. And kind of consequently, I've had to do some internal searching, separating oil and water. Um, and so yeah, that's where I come up with the idea of it's time to divorce the world. I've done a lot of viewing recently of the world events, world affairs, and I have such a different point of view than everyone else on world events that I'm not like y'all. I'm not, maybe not you, y'all, but y'all. You feel me? Perfect example. This Iran war. Okay, I'm not gonna speak too much on the war itself, but let's just take the gas prices, right? So right now it's like $3.60 a gallon here in the beautiful Midwest. Okay, I know friends out west, they're paying $6, $7. My parents are paying upwards of $4 in Colorado. So the farther west you go, it goes up exponentially. Um, you know, people have said, not really anyone in my circle, but you see on comments and stuff and Twitter, Instagram, whatever. Um, people belly aching about the war. Okay, I get it. Belly aching about prices, gas prices. Okay, I get it. Open it up so we can. It's affecting our citizens. Like give us our gas. It's rightfully ours. Or we made a trade agreement. I can't believe this, that, and the third. And I hear all this noise, and I want to get in the mix, but at the same time, I don't got the time to be on there all day talking to people about things I believe versus they believe. But I hear this and I go, y'all do realize this is artificial, right? There may be a war in Iran. Okay, AI is so good. I don't know. Missile strike from someone sitting behind their desk at work with using Claude and ChatGPT and lots of open source AI to create these videos. Okay, there may be a war. I'm not gonna deny that. I think the Strait is like what 20%. I'm gonna just say between 20 and 40% of the world supply of oil. The fact that it's closed now and gas prices have gone up, in the first week it was 40 to 60% nationwide. I don't I don't really see it as all that necessary. Okay, did we not have any reserve? And mind you, that's oil. Okay, that's oil prices. Oil needs to be refined to make gasoline. So unless we are relying on that ship to make it from Iran or the Strait of Gibraltar, there's so many straits, Gibraltar, Hormuz, whatever, from the Strait all the way to the U.S., process the next day, and at the Shell gas station down the street, I think we have a whole lot left in store. But see, big companies are using this fear-mongering tactic, getting the citizens worked up and just raise the prices. And they can say, oh, well, there's a war going on and they're holding our oil. Therefore, we can ratchet up the prices. Yeah, sure, their income and supply might be going down, but I guarantee you they have probably at least a 6-month supply of fuel and oil things logged up, sitting there in process. Because you don't just get oil out the ground and put it into your Toyota Prius. That's not how that stuff works. It's got to be processed, and then they gotta, even motor oil, that's way different than the oil that comes out the ground. Okay, you gotta process, and you can create all types of things. Different gases that come out, that's got to be processed, and natural gas. So it's a whole big deal. My point being, the fact of how the world is going and people being like, it's because of the war that the gas price is so high. And I see that and I say, no, this is just corporate greed. But I don't conform to the world's thought of this is Trump's fault. Mad at Daddy Trump. Oh, no. By the way, I don't call him Daddy Trump. It's just kind of whatever. I'm over here. I'm in this camp. And seeing just in that one thought experiment, that one thought exercise, I'm not of this world, so therefore I need to check out of it on all surfaces. So, I got to get rid of Twitter and Instagram and X and Facebook and everything. Doesn't work. So I'm just kind of at this point where I got to divorce the world. And I'm not going to tell you need to divorce the world, but I'm saying, it would be a good idea. I don't know you personally. I mean, lots of my viewers I do know personally, but I don't know what you're going through personally. But I've just lined out some of the things that I've seen in society as of late. Probably in the last 2-3 months, I've had this real eye-opening, eye-awakening kind of idea of, okay, what's world and what's God? So I have my notes, made a couple pages of notes front and back, just talking about, okay, the world versus God. So let's just start out with the scripture, Romans 12:2, talking about being conformed to the world versus not. And it says, and be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. Okay. Be not conformed to this world. Don't be shaped like them. Don't be shaped like the world, but be transformed, be different by the renewing of your mind, okay? Making this mental fresh. We could talk a whole lot about mental. That we may prove or act out, prove and act out, kind of whatever. What is that? Good and perfect and good and acceptable and perfect will of God. Now, I'm not a Bible scholar. I can't tell you what perfect means in this sense. Does it really mean without mistake? I don't know. But if perfect means that I'm following what God wants for me to a T, that's perfection. Okay? If God says go to church on a Thursday and I do that every Thursday, I'm being perfect to that will that He's asked me to do. So whatever God has for you in that will and you follow it out, if God says make one video every week and I do that, I'm following that will perfectly. I might mess up and stutter in said video, but that doesn't mean I'm following the will imperfectly. I'm doing what He asked me, and nothing more, nothing less. That's perfect. guess I kind of answered my own question. It's weird. Flow state, I guess. Okay, so I have a little T chart here thing, and I'm gonna th- this will be a whiteboard lesson, okay, to kind of help point things out. All right, so I've made a list of things that I've noticed that the world wants you to follow after and kind of keep on your mind, and a list of things that God has said to follow and keep on your mind and to practice. And yes, the world also wants you to practice these things. So we're just gonna go down each list and just kind of talk about them individually. Sorry, this is a long video because it's a heavy topic. Yeah, so let's start. So pop culture, okay? Anything that goes on in the popular world, the social realm, what the Kardashians are doing, Epstein files, things of that nature. Now, that doesn't mean that you need to completely ignore evil things that are done. Okay, the Epstein files, yes, uproar, absolutely necessary, absolutely needed. But the fact that, Lotto had a baby does not, affect anyone on a regular basis. It doesn't need to be talked about, okay? But if we keep you distracted with these things of pop culture. See, pop culture, it's a distraction. It's all supposed to keep you distracted from what's really going on, okay? Some people may know this, some people may not. The Super Bowl is the greatest, it's the peak time of child trafficking going on. Under the stadium, I'm gonna sound like a complete foilhead here, but I really don't care. Under the stadium, there is an obscene amount of things going on that you don't even know. That's why they have the massive flyover, and they can't think about it. If you congregate all these people in this area, a massive flyover, and a halftime show that everyone talks about. I didn't hear anything about the game. I didn't know who won for 2 days because I don't watch the Super Bowl. I don't worship the God of sport. That's not me. But I heard so much about the Bad Bunny concert. I heard people in the Instagram notes. If you hated the concert, you're a racist. You're a colonizer. You're a this. You're a that. We've reached that point in society where you can't even have a differing opinion on something. Therefore, you must be the complete opposite. Okay, right? They want us bickering and arguing so much about Bad Bunny in the Super Bowl that the evil deeds that they do go unnoticed, unchecked, and untalked about. Okay, a lot of places there are underground things. Okay, let's get deep into the conspiracy realm. Okay, Denver. Okay, why'd they move the airport 15 miles outside the city? Well, I don't know. Why is that horse called Lucifer? I don't know. And it killed its creator. That's weird. All sorts of gargoyles and weird demonic sculptures in the airport. That's weird. But see, if we can just keep people busy on what's happening in world affairs, they won't even. We can put stuff under their noses, and they don't even blink. Odd. The Epstein files, the child trafficking. It's finally come out. I don't know how the files were first discovered. I'm not really too well versed in the area. But the fact that it all happened and there's documentation means that this is, by the way, this has been going on for thousands of years, okay? The same demons in the Bible, yeah. Same people, different day, okay? Or same demons, different day, okay? It's the same thing, they're using different people, it's just a different day. Distraction by pop culture. We're so worried about sneaker releases, okay? And things change. It used to be sneaker releases and video game releases. And now we're worried about movies, and now, movies have kind of gone away, and now it's this new show. And, gosh, I don't even know what the real new fad is. I couldn't tell you what the new fad is, okay? But we're so stuck on TikTok. We're so stuck on these social media platforms that we don't realize what's going on, okay? So if you follow pop culture, you're going to fall for their trap and their deception and not see the world for what it really is. Okay? Music. I can't get too deep into this one because I will spend an hour and a half talking about just music alone. Okay? 4/4s, 808s, vibrations, frequencies, intros, outros, meanings behind words. Lucifer was the chief orchestrator in heaven before the fall. Before everything, He was, I heard the example of he was like the chandelier in heaven, and God was the light. And the chandelier wanted to be the light too much. He thought he should be what they worshipped. So God had to cut down the chandelier, and the chandelier fell. And all the a third of all the angels in heaven, okay, we're just gonna call them a third of all the jewels in heaven. A third of those jewels were on the chandelier, and they fell with it. Well, this chandelier, okay, so Lucifer was the head of music. You think he wouldn't know how to use music to get people to do certain things? Let's take let's take Young Boy. Okay, if you listen to Young Boy's music, what do you feel? You see people walking around with black Air Forces and looking like they on demon timing. Demon timing. Just think of that terminology, and you can think that boy must listen to Young Boy. You don't even have to know he does. You can tell he don't listen to Thames or Claro. You can tell that just based off his demeanor and how he looks. Okay, but the music, the input, okay, has now affected the output, how he walks. So yeah, that's just music. So just be careful and study up on your favorite artists. Learn about 808s. Learn about 404. Learn about all this stuff in music. Frequencies, all that. Okay. Dress code. Okay. I have a daughter. The way people walk around today is not how. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. Not doing that. Hashtag no young hoes over here. None of that. You just simply can't have it. You just simply can't have it. The nakedness was discovered in the garden after they ate the fruit. But now we're reverting back to nakedness in a blatant, uncouth way. Let me take a drink here. This gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt some ladies' feelings, and I'm sorry. Leggings ain't it. They nice, okay? They nice, yes, but the tighter the clothes, the less to the imagination it leaves. You don't have to look up things on the internet anymore to go out there and see it. You don't. That inseam scrunch leggings that you see at the gym, what's that all about? But see, they've tricked us into marketing it that it's comfortable and it's sexy and it's cute and all that and you'll feel good. To now, I mean, you go to Costco, you see it. You go to the library, you see it. You're at the park. You're with your kids. You're with your wife and kids, or you're with your husband and kids, or you're just a kid with your friends, or you're just a single man, a single. You're a person, and you're seeing this stuff, and some of it's hard not to look at for two different reasons. One, because A, it might be so attractive you can't help but look, and two, it's so detestable and abhorring. You're like, what the heck is? Oh my. So be careful how the world tells you to dress, what is okay and what isn't okay, because unless it leads to the imagination, think about it. Okay, a woman dresses in tight clothes every day because they're cute and they're comfortable and they make her feel good. Okay. It leaves less to the imagination. She posts herself on her story. Not no provocative way necessarily, but mirror pics and whatever with the lyrics of whatever Brent Faiyaz song she's streaming at the time. Okay. And then she gets these dudes in her DMs sliding up saying crazy things, lustful things, way out of pocket. Okay. Then her IG note is I hate lustful men, or I really wish men weren't so lustful. I do too, and I concur and I agree. But what caused that? The clothes you're wearing are helping produce these thoughts. I'm not even saying you the problem, okay? Because you was something you taught. You went into Aloe and bought a set. You went into wherever and got this set, okay? The really tight zip up jacket now, that's now a trending thing. You can get those everywhere now. Okay, you just went and got some clothes that you thought would look good, okay? But you didn't realize what happened on the back end of the design of those said clothes. So now, okay, she perceives as men as lustful, okay? And men do struggle with lust. I'm a man who struggles with lust. I'll be 100% honest with you, okay? those clothes don't make it no easier. But see, now she thinks men are lustful, or sees a lot of lustful men, and that reduces her faith in men in general. Okay, reduce faith in men is gonna reduce in the amount of families created. Simple as that. And if the devil can break down the family, oh my gosh, divide and conquer. Okay, he can divide us and conquer us a whole lot easier. So that's just one way dress and stuff works. But if you you know if you want something, you have to put that out. So if you want a loyal man or a loyal woman, you can't be out here moving disloyal. And if you want, and therefore that means you moving includes how you dress. It includes that too. Um, Sorry, I guess I don't really know what to say. I'm gonna use no names, but I know somebody who she wants a loyal man and wants this, wants that. But if you look at her posts on various social sites, it's her out at the club or not, yeah, just out, and or she might be drinking or she might be shaking something that her mama gave her, and whatever. And then her next Facebook post is, "All y'all men are hoes." And then the next post is, "I just want someone to be loyal to me," or I just, waiting for my husband, waiting for the family. And then the next post is, her quote tweet. I don't know what you call on Facebook when you quote tweet it, whatever, where you post someone else's post and put your little bit up top of it. Uh, yeah, and yeah. Anyway, I need to move on. Holidays and traditions. Okay. By the way, that was all to say. It's all a lot of discord and dysfunction today stems from the way we dress as men and women. So let's tighten up. Holidays and traditions. Okay, if you look at, and it sucks because every year it seems like we find out satanic or demonic roots and rituals or undertones in every holiday. Apparently the Christmas tree. I didn't know this until like last year, or the year before. The Christmas tree itself is some kind of satanic thing. I don't know. I'll have to do some more. The Tenenbaum has I don't know, something about it. I don't know. Symbols and things of that nature. If you just look at what holidays promote. Okay, Mardi Gras. Okay, first of all, I'm no language scholar. I thought Mardi Gras was, honestly, I thought it was a Jewish holiday just based on the spelling, but apparently it's a. I still can't tell you what it is, but in St. Louis it just means boobs and beads. I know that's a part of Mardi Gras. I couldn't tell you another thing about it, and not that I've ever been to Mardi Gras, but it's just like that's what it is. So all these holidays and traditions, Halloween, okay, where people dress up for fun, for funsies, as devils and things like that. What are we doing? What are we doing as a society? What does the Easter Bunny have to do with Jesus being resurrected? What are, what are we cooking and why? So yeah, just be aware of holidays and traditions. Okay, whatever God has given us, Satan will counterfeit it and produce it for his own use. Okay, health standards, typically, or just particularly here in the U.S. 2 meals a day. Sorry, not two. 3 meals a day. Not a biblical standard. Not even a healthy standard. Your body needs time to process foods, and it's good to practice intermittent fasting, and your cells regenerate um, on that time frame. And if you're constantly slugging your system down with food, it doesn't have a chance to catch a breather. And we wonder why so much of America is overweight. Fast food's what they put in our foods. Okay, part of the Epstein files. If you do certain things with these aborted human fetuses and baby parts and human parts, the bodies have to go somewhere, and then they test various food companies, and oh crap, you know, a McDouble is a McDouble serving of a McHuman, and that's freaking terrible, and that's disgusting, and sick, and that's detestable. And yet McDonald's sells something like 4 million patties a day. I can't remember. And that's an old figure from something I read in a book, a fun fact book. nigh on 10 years ago. So who knows how many McDonald's is selling a day. Crazy stuff. Um, yeah, health standards, sleep, things of that nature. They say you need 8 hours. Some people need less. I need only 7 hours and 16 minutes. Okay, my time before my body has routinely woken up on that time frame. I don't need. If I rest too long over that, I feel groggy or in sluggish. If I don't get enough, I feel like I'm made of sticks and just ready to just break down and just not have a good day. Language, the way we talk about things. Okay, and fellas, this section is kind of regarded towards us. Innuendos are all funny and cool until they're not. And there is a specific Bible verse talking about let our language be acceptable, so that every man may hear. I think, I don't know. It's been a minute since I read that particular verse. The way we talk about things. The whole pause core. Or it'll start with your mama jokes. That don't sound like we're respecting parents. Gold. And then we have things like pause, saying gay stuff on the low. Okay. And then the way, fellas are fellas, we get together, we talk, we talk crap, we talk shop. Okay, that's why they call it talking shop. You're at the workshop or at the barber shop. You're at one of the two shops. And you're talking shop about women. Is that really how let's institute your mother, your daughter, your sister into this conversation. Are we still going to be talking about them like that? Probably not. Probably not. Terms that we use here in the world are not of God, and that's a problem. So we need to mind our language. Business practices. I'm learning this one actively. But I'm learning all these actively. Just more and more every day it comes up. I'm like, yikes. But business practices. I can tell you so far, don't cheat people and don't short people change. Okay? Shady business practices. I worked for a company. They did some shady business practices. I peeped that. I left the company. Okay? There's more to the story. I'll tell you that later. In a separate video, probably a couple years down the road. But your business practices are known and are shown throughout the way you live the rest of your life. And screwing people over for a buck, not a good idea. So this is the world. This is just a few things the world preaches. This is their manual. This is their rule book. I just pointed things out in each of these sections about the world and how they think and how they run. And it's not something you really want to be a part of, is it? Now we're on to the God side of things. And I like this side because it's easier. I don't have to break all this stuff down and kind of expose things. These are pretty straightforward. I put some parentheses next to things because it's terms we don't really use anymore. And so I kind of put it in modern terms, or kind of people are like, what is that? What is meekness? What is temperance? What is long suffering? So this will fly by quicker, but that's the good thing about God. He can make anything go at any rate. A journey that would take you 10 years, he can make take 1. He's simple and he's straightforward. It's us who complicates things. So this should be a pretty simple, straightforward thing. Okay? Love. What is love? Okay. Love is the genuine care for the well-being of people. Okay. This is how this is the world system, how they want you to run. This is how God wants you to run. Run in love. Act in love. Now, love doesn't mean, oh man, dude, love doesn't mean accepting sin. It doesn't mean making passes for sin. Oh man, shoot, you talk to underage girls, man, I'll still mess with you though. Love is, hey man, what you're doing is wrong or right, whatever, and I'm gonna call that out, whether it be right or wrong, and I'm gonna treat it as necessary, and not because I hate you, but because I love you and I want to see you do better. Okay, it's just like a teammate you see screwing up on a play. Okay, yeah, you might be a little bit pissed at him sometimes, but if you pull him aside, like, hey man, look, you keep bricking the layup, bro. I know you can do better. Beat the rim. Okay, first step, beat the rim. Before you even think about getting it through the hoop, beat the rim. Use the back glass if you have to. If you can, dunk that thing. Do what you can. Okay, that's talking to somebody in love. They're not upset at you. Okay, they just want to see you do better. Okay, joy. Now, joy. First of all, notice happiness isn't on this list anywhere. It's not. Because happiness is a temporary, fleeting feeling, and God is an eternal being. I'm not saying He doesn't want you to be happy, but I feel like happiness is the byproduct of things. You know, it's kind of like a job. Okay, you work for $20 an hour. You don't work for cents an hour. Cents are a byproduct of a dollar. You feel me? So God wants you to get the dollars. Okay, and you can't. It's not wrong to have cents alongside, but you don't have to have cents. Okay, if you work for $20 an hour, I don't need 2001. I don't need 1956. Okay, I want my 20 and just my 20. Okay, if I make 2001 or 2207 or 2283, whatever, it's fine. That's cents, but I need the dollars, and you're not gonna get the dollars. Well, sorry, I just thought of a phrase, but I'm not sure that works in this scenario. The phrase is, you can have cents without dollars, but you can't have dollars without cents. So I guess you do need some kind of a degree to happiness along the way. But that kind of sounds like a worldly proverb. I don't know. We're just going to discount it. Anyway, so to define joy. Joy is in tribulation, and when things go south, I can smile through it. When the fridge is bare and the lights are off and I'm cold or I'm hot, I can smile through it. When my tire's flat and my windshield's cracked and the gas is reading E, I can smile through it. When boss is barking and coworkers are slacking, I can still smile through it. That's joy. Are you happy about the situation? No, but you have this aura, this energy, this affect of things will be okay. You have an eternal perspective, and it helps to have an eternal perspective on things. I believe eternal perspectives lead joy. Now, if your eternal perspective is we're damned and screwed for all eternity, then yeah, this might not be your favorite, but hey, I like it. In my situation, my bills is low-key kind of behind. I'm not gonna lie to you, okay? Every week it's paycheck. I'm not paycheck to paycheck. I'm job to job, okay? Because until the business can get up and running more, I'm gonna struggle a little bit, and that's okay. But you know what? I feel okay. I'm making this video. I'm smiling because I'm happy, and shoot, I feel okay because joy. I have an eternal perspective. This world is temporary. This is a season of struggle. Why don't I learn something in this season of struggle? Because I know down the road there will be better things for me. Joy, peace, pretty self-explanatory. What is peace? Okay, peace is. I suppose I should have brought a definition or thought of a definition before this, but peace is. It's a balanced energy. Peace is a balanced energy, and on the proper vibration, it is a balanced energy. And God wants you to have that in your life. And balanced energy in the home means that you can get stuff done and that you can rest. When you're at peace, you can function properly in the proper areas. Okay? If I'm not at peace I'm gonna give you 3 examples. Okay, we're gonna talk about the home, the basketball court, and work. Okay, if I'm not at peace at home, I can't sleep well, I don't eat right, and I poorly manage my time, and the house is messy. Okay, on the basketball court, if I'm not at peace, if they're on an 11-0 run, whatever, and I just turn over the ball, my inner being is no longer at peace. I'm going to do something stupid and foul on the next play, and then there's an and one, and then they're up 13-1, and then I'm on the bench because I'm not at peace internally no more. Sorry, I get a little excited there. Okay. And then at work, if I'm not at peace, I make the wrong calls, I make the wrong judgment plays, I talk to the wrong clients, the wrong people. If I'm so desperate for $1 that I'll take a job for $5, just give me, and I'm not at peace with, well, my situation, and let me back up and let me think. I make the wrong moves. If you're not at peace, if you don't have that balanced energy in your life, you kind of do trip up. And how do you get that balanced energy? You get it from God. Long suffering, okay? Also known as perseverance, okay? Long and suffering. Suffering, what is suffering? To go through something unpleasant. Long, what is long? It's long, a lot, okay? To go through something that is uncomfortable or unpleasant for a long time. To persevere, to stick through it. That means, let me stick through this thing. Simple as that, okay? Again, I'm gonna give another business analogy because that's all I know right now. It's my life. I eat, breathe, sleep this, okay? If I don't have any dollars coming in for 4, 5, 6 days, that doesn't mean go get me a W-2 job so I can get caught up. No, that's following me, but that's me falling back into the world system of what the world called safety, selling my time for $20 an hour when it could be worth 50, 60, or 100. Okay, I need to suffer long and learn through this thing and see if I can find, if I can maintain and create and operate in peace. Okay, and have joy through it and act in love. See how all these work together and compound over time? They will all work together and compound for a balanced life. And we're only halfway through the list. Gentleness. A soft answer turneth away wrath. It's a proverb somewhere, and there's another half of that verse I'm forgetting. Not everything needs a brash or coarse correction. Not everything needs to be done in a brash or coarse correction. Here's an example I've learned. Again, guess where I got it from? Business. So I was detailing a car one time, and after you pre-wash a car, you wash it down, you spray it down, you dry it. I dried this car, and I have these big towels. Matter of fact, I'm gonna get one. Actually, they're low key in the car, but it's okay. They already have to see them. Sorry to pop my back. These big towels, they're about 1.5 by 3 foot, and they're big enough where you just toss them over the car and you just slowly pull them, and it soaks up and picks up a lot of water because this one water spot is then run over by 3 feet of towel. That water spot's gonna go gone. Of course, there's always a little bit of water left on, but that can either be gently buffed off, or if it's light and there's a bit of a breeze, the temperature's right, it'll just evaporate off just fine. But for some reason, I wasn't operating in gentleness, and I was buffing off all the water all over the car, or at least the part of the car that I was focusing on. And every time after I do a section, I step back to see how it looks. So I dried, and I noticed these little scratches in it. And these are irregular scratches. I'm thinking, okay, it's probably from the car wash that they go through, but good golly, those scratches are at such weird angles. Like, it's not good. So I'm looking, and that probably looked like it was me. See, I wasn't gentle, and I scratched their paint, their clear coat. So I have to go back and paint correct it, which is fine. It's just compound and buff and polish and shine. But if I didn't operate in gentleness, and that's costly, and that could have cost me that customer. Now, thankfully, there's a customer who knows me, and I'm learning and growing. They're helping me also learn and grow. They're gonna get a free full paint correction buff because I also need to learn how to paint correct and buff. Do a full paint correction. I do know some, but not all. But anyway, point being, had I remained gentle and had gentle energy with that, I would have just known to just let it evaporate off, because it wasn't even wet to the point where it would have left water spots. It was just like that little leftover residue. I could have gently buffed off later with the towel, but by the time I got the towel, went to the car, got a towel, came back, it would have been dry anyway. So I should just let it be. But I was impatient and was not operating in gentleness, and it cost me. Okay, so gentleness is going soft first, honestly. It really is. Not everything needs that scrub. Some things do, but not everything. Okay, meekness. Okay, Don't mistake meekness for weakness. Meekness, I believe, is a servant's mindset. I'm here to serve you. Okay? I'm here to serve you or whoever or whatever it is I'm doing. And not as a use me however you want, but I am providing a service to you, and therefore, for whatever time I'm at your disposal to do my job properly. If you hire me to clean your car, and I clean the car, and y'all come inspect it, and the wheel barrels aren't done properly, or there's still bird poop on the windshield, it would not be meek of me to say, well, I cleaned the car. You have me come here to clean the car, and I clean the car, and that bird just pooped. Okay, and I don't know what to tell you. Okay, and oh, are you dissing on my work? Are you mad at me? You saying I don't do good enough work? That's not meekness. But meekness would be, oh, I'm sorry, let me clean it up for you. Or, oh, I did miss the spot. Thank you for catching that. I always want to set, 2 pairs of eyes is always better than one, no matter what you do. Okay, so that's meekness. Is operating a servant's mindset. Heck, it could be going above and beyond. Okay, on that we're like, okay, what about this? What about that? Oh, we want the wheel wells done a bit more. Or we want this, and say yes. You don't have to say, okay, well that'll be an extra $5. That'll be an extra $30. That'll be extra whatever. Just do it, okay? And it's a mindset of serving them, so they're satisfied. Okay, that's meekness. So, sorry, I'm having a lot of back pain. Probably posture related. So yeah, and then temperance. Self-control. This world, including myself, lacks a lot of self-control. Okay, now this can be strictly, or it often pertains to things such as diet, the amount of sleep we get, food we eat, the way we operate every day, the language we use, the reactions we have. Don't react, respond. We lack a lot of that, and that'll get us a lot out of order. A lot of accidents happen because people lose temperance. They're not tempered people, and they lose their sense of self-control and road rage. Simple as that. So if we operate in these things that are in the perfect will of God, and we operate in these 7 areas of our life, or do act out these 7 things, it's gonna bring forth good fruit. This brings forth good fruit. This does not. If we follow the world's rules, there's 7 things, and God's 7 things. We'll see who ends up on the better side. So I'm not saying like I'm gonna do it this way, y'all do it that way. Come fight me. I'm saying you really do have 2 schools of thought here, 2 systems. And so it really is up to you, honestly. I realize I've touched on a lot of things so far, and so I'm going to take a bit of a break and just kind of reset, breathe, relax a little bit, get some business things done and attended to. But yeah, I'm gonna make this a 2-parter, because this is probably the longest video I'm going to be doing for a long while. And yeah, so I will see y'all in part 2. And I think if I can, which I should, because I do have the time, if I can time manage well, I will release that later today.